Welcome, everybody, to Red Rock City Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Camilla Durand, your host. We're here today with Crystal Leisner. She is the owner of Meraki Hair Body, and she's also the main stylist of the salon. Crystal, welcome. I'm very happy that you're here. I'm so grateful that you are willing to talk to our audience and tell us about everything that you do, the magic that you create up in the salon in Summerlin. So please start sharing a little bit about you, how you got started in the business, so on and so forth.
I have been doing hair for 20 plus years. I started super young and straight out of high school. And then now have been here in Vegas for about 15 years and have had Meraki Hair Body for 7 or so. We started in 2017. So
that's fabulous. Congratulations on your success as a business owner and as one of the main stylists up in Summerlin.
Thank you.
So what does Meraki mean?
The word Meraki is Greek, and it means to do something with love, soul, and creativity, to put a piece of yourself into your work.
And that is what you do. You put a lot of you in, and a lot of your soul and your heart into your work. That's
very much so. I chose it as our name for its meaning specifically. Mm-hmm. I wanted a name that didn't encompass just hair or just me. I wanted it to really be both our mission statement for the salon as well as equally the rest of our service providers and artists and services that we offer. So it wasn't just hair related.
How did you get into the hair business? Tell us a little bit about your history, your journey.
I went to cosmetology school when I was 16 years old, still in high school, back in New York. And I technically thought that it was only going to be an interim career job while I went to school for art. I was going to do advertising and design. And I knew that I needed a job while I was going to school and building that portfolio and starting that career. And I always loved the beauty industry of things and just doing hair and all of that. So I went to cosmetology school first, started working in a salon right away, my first year in school, and I never really did anything more with it. I stayed at that salon for 8 years until I moved out to Vegas and then kept going from there.
And here in Vegas, when you got here, did you start you opened your salon right away, or where did you start working when you moved here?
I looked for something that was comparable to what I had back east, and that doesn't really exist out here. So, kind of where you kind of fall into and end up with. So I was just kind of a very strange kind of commission rent base, renting a chair in a really big salon. And I slowly kind of worked my way around. I went from there to independent private suite rental, and then moved to a different suite rental, and then expanded and had larger rooms and rooms on both sides of town, both in Summerlin and in Green Valley. I worked on the Strip and did weddings and high-end events, all on location. And I really opened the salon that we have today out of necessity for the right space, more than desire to own a salon. The right environment just didn't really present itself for what I wanted to provide to my clients and what clients were kind of ultimately looking for, of the, how can I kind of either have all of my services in one place, or, everybody would come to me and ask for the referral of, where do I get my brows done? Who does my nails? Where do I go for my lashes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, in suite rental, and, you're just kind of a hallway of rooms, no different than any other rental space. Just because the girl is next door doesn't mean that I even know her, or let alone maybe vouch for and would recommend her services.
Right.
Now, that's not to say that we didn't all get to know one another and kind of work together, but there was no control over who was there and who wasn't. So I wanted the opportunity, or I wanted to provide the opportunity to my clients, I guess, of being able to come back to having that all in one space, and or that if you're getting your hair done with me and you're as an esthetician working in the salon, you don't have to ask, oh, do you like her? Would you recommend her? Do you think that I should get my brows done with her? If she's here and we're all in one space, then yes. There is always a difference of personality. So we might have multiple hairstylists and multiple estheticians and multiple, any service provider, and you might like one versus the other, or I might recommend one versus another just because of the services that they offer or their own person. But that doesn't mean that I would not recommend, or that you would be unhappy, or that I'm not trusting of anyone that's in the space. And that really makes people, I think, feel much more comfortable.
For sure, definitely. And every time since I've seen you, you have a different hairstyle, a different hair color. So how often do you change your hair? And the second question following that, I'd like to know, which one is your favorite? Which one has been your favorite style and color of hair that you've worn?
I change it often. There's no set schedule. It's not like has to be this long, can't be that long. Sometimes it depends on how busy I am. When I find the time, we're always the last people to get our own hair done.
Right.
And a lot of times people think that my hair changes really, really often, but a lot of it is just kind of transitional. So it might be that I might have an event or a travel or a function or just a goal that might be 6 months out to a year out. And I know that I have to transition to lighter, to darker, or different tones. So sometimes the colors in between are purely part of a process and not always the goal. But it's usually like 3 to almost 5 months per color, or like a major color change.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I had never thought of the fact that, planning an event or an experience months out, you would then change your hair or make the adjustments that were necessary for you to get to that final look that you're wanting.
Yes. And it's more of a embrace all of the stages of it. So we take the same realm, whether we're talking about going from pink to blue or black to, purple. The same process of steps that we have to go through in order to get there might be the same process and steps that you have to go through from red to blonde, or, growing out your gray, or softening out from dark to, kind of a bright highlighted, caramel color. There's a lot of phases to the hair in between, and we want to embrace and kind of like and enjoy every one of them. You should never really have that phase where you're like, oh, I'm in a process, I hate my hair, but it's, we're in a color change. Like, you should never really be in that realm. It might not be your ideal goal, but you should never hate it. Outside people, without knowing what your goal is, should never really know, like, oh, you must be in a transitional phase. Like, that's not a thing.
That would be horrible for people to think that.
It happens sometimes.
Oh, my stars, that's too funny. And tell me a little bit about the look nowadays, like in 2024. What are the trends that women are looking for, or what's in the industry right now?
The trends industry-wise are definitely, everything is cyclical, as we know. So everything is just what is either the grow out or the adjustment of what we were doing last season or last year. And then everything kind of just follows, the years and the trends. We've done the 70s, we've done the 80s, we're in the 90s, we're working into the 2000s. It kind of just rotates its way through. So we're seeing warmer colors, less of that really ashy, cool blondes and mushrooms. We're seeing a lot more kind of coppers, warmer browns highlighted out. You're seeing a little bit more of that traditional all the way to the root highlight, as opposed to more of that ombre, very stretched look that we were doing for a long time. That'll always be important because it has less maintenance. It's a much more lived in natural look. But there are people who are coming back to, no, I want that bright highlight all the way up, or I want that warmer golden kind of sun-kissed look more than, you know, platinum icy blondes or, you know, rich, harsh blacks. You're seeing a lot of softness. We're also seeing a lot more, not in turn just for the low maintenance of it, but we're seeing more, how do I camouflage my gray? How do I work with my own natural, either hair color or hair type or gray? How do I work with my own natural texture? That people are really just kind of embracing and kind of accentuating and enhancing rather than fighting. I have curly hair, I want it to be straight. I have straight hair, I want it to be, you know, big and fluffy and curly. And so there's a lot more education, I guess, to the client rather than just, here's a picture, make me look like, you know, actress XYZ.
So, and this movement of embracing the gray as we grow older, I noticed that it has become more prominent since COVID. Is that when it started, or did it start before and I'm just noticing it now?
It really started before then, but COVID sped it up a lot. And I think it's not so much of some people obviously have I have gray, it's natural, I don't care. But more than that, I think it's just, before it was a mindset of if you had gray hair, you were old. And I think that is kind of not as much the mindset anymore. Okay. It's more about having healthy hair, taking care of it, having it well cared for and maintained and styled. And it's no different whether it's gray or pink or brown or black or blonde or blue. Any of those things, it's really just how it's done, not what color it is.
Does every skin tone carry, or can every skin tone handle a natural gray? Because I don't think I could.
No, it can't. And that's another thing in both regards, in the fact that some people have the mentality of, well, if it's my natural color, it must look good on me because it's what I was born with. And that's not the answer at all.
Right.
Many of us color our hair not because we have to, because it's gray. We color our hair because we don't like our own natural hair color, or, you know, our lifestyle, our clothing, our skincare, tan, fair, what look we want to put across. Do we want it to be soft? Do we want it to be bold? All of those things your hair affects. It's the same thing as we don't wear flesh colored clothes. We wear color. Gray hair, everybody's gray hair is also different. It is not a thing of everybody will eventually have that beautiful, you know, silver white hair that everybody wants. I want to have this picture of this gray hair. Like, you could wait forever and have 100% your natural hair growing. It will not necessarily always look like that. Some people have beautiful, beautiful, striking natural gray hair and the right skin tone to carry it. And they should rock it. It's amazing. Some people, your gray hair is just dull and not fun. And I very much so in all things, whether it's should I go gray, I want to embrace my color, or I want to be pink, purple, black, blonde, blue, I will say to somebody, this is what I recommend and this is why. And it's all about cool and warm and your skin tone and your eye color and texture and what is the maintenance and all of those things. So there are people who, if you want to embrace your gray, but you have not nice gray, or you really like warm colors, and gray is obviously cool. Gray hair is literally just void of color. It's just lack of melanin. So it is duller because it is absorbing light. It's not warm. It's not rich, any of those things. If you need warmth, then maybe we embrace your natural gray, but we enhance it with either a glaze or just a highlight or a low light or, same thing. Anybody, just because you're going gray doesn't mean that you necessarily shouldn't have any type of color maintenance.
Right. I love it. And one of the things that I must say made me really fall in love with you and the way that you work was that I was looking for some changes in my hair, that were fun and sexy. And, the stylist that I had seen until I fell into your chair really weren't able to capture, my personality, really what I was trying to communicate. And you were never afraid to put bold colors and try and like contrasts, because I've never had the hair colors that I've been having in my life, and I love it. So I love that about you. You're not afraid to risk an opinion or, a different style, a different color. Have you always been like this?
I think a lot of it comes from really doing that consultation well and really understanding color theory. The more you understand how things affect and work and create and cause, and that if we do something that either doesn't work out or that you don't like, I also know how to make the next change to adapt out of it. But the biggest thing in a consultation is it's not just saying, take the risk, throw the bold color. The client came in and asked for something extravagant, give it to them. There's a lot of times where I say no. But really having that consultation and asking the questions and kind of getting to know your client, and then kind of interpreting their answers and kind of continuing it and feeding it back and then explaining to them why we might make the choices or not make the choices that we do based upon creating contrast from your skin to your hair, creating enough depth contrast or tonal contrast from your base color to your highlight, how angles and shapes of your hair affect angles and shapes of your face and your body. If we're trying to draw the eye a certain way or detract from a certain thing, we want to soften something out. We want to warm up the skin or make the eyes pop or cool something down. Your hair plays a really, really, really big role in that. And it's on your body every single day. We can change our clothes. We can change our makeup. We can change our accessories. Your hair is there all the time. Yes, we can still change it, make it big, make it sleek, wear it up, wear it down. But those play a role.
For sure.
So I really go through and kind of show and teach all of those things. And then we make a decision kind of together. I make a lot of the decisions because my clients inevitably come to me and go, well, I came to you for you to tell me what to do. And I just what you want to do, and which is great. But even when I'm making the decision, I'm making that decision based upon the feedback or the insight or even the lifestyle conversation that you're telling me. And I'm using that to make my decision of, let's stick with the same thing. You need a really small change. You need a big change, et cetera, et cetera. So no matter what, I think the other thing that happens is when people are with the same stylist for a really long time, certain stylists and clients kind of get stuck in that rut of, you just kind of keep ending up with the same thing. You show up, they know you, there's no more consultation. It's just, how's life? How's the family? How's the kids? How's work? Where are you going on vacation? Your color's mixed. How's your hair? It's fine. We're doing the same thing. And they just move on. And, or you ask for something kind of out of the box and they're afraid. What if you don't like it? Or we're good at what we're doing. I don't want you to be mad at me. So we're just going to keep doing the same thing because that's safe. I have a lot of people that have the same exact color and style and formula for the last, 5-10 years. And I have other people that I don't even write their formulas down because it's different every single time.
Why bother?
Yeah, why bother? I start every single one of my clients in my chair, even people that I see every single week. I ask, how's your hair? What are you liking? What are you not liking? And from that and how they either react or where they touch their hair or whatnot, tells me, are we doing the same thing? Do we need to have this conversation a little bit more in depth? Or, yes, it's good. No, it's this, and so on. So there's always an opportunity to explore that further.
Wonderful. And you also offer classes, right, for people who want to learn how to style their hair. Talk a little bit about that.
So we're trying to do more and more of kind of a variance of pop-up classes within the salon and just kind of events and bringing in other area local vendors and just bringing people together and showing them either we've done like kids classes of like, helping parents with little ones of how to do ponytails and braids and brushing and shampooing. We've done some teen things on just, healthy introduction to hair. We've done a lot of things on product maintenance in terms of like leave-in conditioners and dry hair and how much do I use dry shampoo and heat styling and things like that. But then the other thing that we do, whether it's both in a group setting or in a one-on-one, groups are fun for the party aspect. One-on-one is much more beneficial because even in a one-on-one in a group setting, it's more chaotic. But I call it BYOB. And it's bring your own blow dryers, brushes, bottles. I mean product bottles. There's normally wine bottles that come with it. But the point is that you bring all of your own things that you use at home to the salon with you so that we can really go through and see what you're using, tools, products, the amount that you're putting in your hair, what order you're putting those things in, and then correct or tweak kind of the hold this in this hand, move this, use more, use less, switch the order of this. So we're just looking to help you be able to improve and get more out of your home care. It's great for your style to look amazing when you leave the salon. That's fabulous. Yeah. That's great. Everybody loves it. But you have to live the whole rest of the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to 6 months. And you should like your hair in between. It's always going to be different. It might always be better or more when you leave the salon, but you should be able to do it yourself as well or close. So that's what I'm trying to. A lot of times I find it's very small tweaks that I'm changing somebody's hand or adding a product or taking a product away, and it makes all the difference in the world.
I bet. I'm so looking forward to one day attending one of your classes.
Yes.
And the last question that I have for you is, do you ever think that 80s big hair is ever going to come back?
It would not surprise me in the least. Not at all.
Really?
No. And the reason that I say that is we could say maybe it won't because we did kind of the 70s feathered, and we did kind of the mid 80s, very punky, kind of peacocked top and mullets came back. And we did all of those and we kind of mildly skipped over the big permed rainbow bang hair. And now we've moved back into a lot of 90s and into 2000s, Jennifer Aniston, and very smooth layers, very reactive cutting, soft, round things, because we previously were doing very hard lines. Perms have came back in the last couple of years, but in men more than in women.
Oh, really?
Teenage boys last year were all about permed, longer hair. Yeah.
You're totally kidding me. Oh my God, we have to do an article in the magazine about that. I would love that. That is so different.
I've definitely done more perms and or just more embrace the curl lately. But yeah, teenage boys perming their hair was definitely a thing last year.
Wow.
Wearing that kind of shaggy mop curl type of a thing. And I think the girls a little bit less because they were getting kind of the same volume from like the curtain bang effect. And their perms are a little more, there's less stylists that are ever willing to do them. So probably people started getting told no. And there's a little more long-term commitment to it. And
For
your
sure.
option is, do you want this bright, high contrast blonde, or do you want this perm? Because depending upon the health and the quality of your hair, you can't have both.
Right.
So that probably played into it a little bit. We also live in the desert, so perms are not really
A thing, like our friends. Yeah.
Because they just dry out so much more. The styling of it after the fact is rough.
It's hard.
So, but could I see a lot more of that, big rainbow bang fun coming back? Yeah, pick a celebrity and tell them to do it and put another movie out there. Big rainbow side bangs.
Love it. Fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Very cool. And Crystal, where can people find you? Where can our listeners find you? Where is the salon?
The salon is right at Sahara and Fort Apache. So we're right on the northeast corner. And we are there for the most part by appointment only, but for the pretty much fully Tuesday through Saturday, sometimes on Mondays. And we are on Instagram and Facebook at Meraki.hair-and-body. We are also on Pinterest, which is a great place to look for inspiration and ideas and create boards. We are slowly adding, but we are working on updating a lot of our things into Pinterest boards as well, to be able to separate it out between long, short, bold, warm, cool. We have a magazine as well that is kind of our brochure and a little bit of kind of informational things. So that is available. There's links to it on all of our kind of socials, have a link tree. And then we also have a Spotify station, so you can listen to the same music that's in the salon, which is pretty fun.
It's so amazing. I love that playlist. It's really amazing. It makes me feel like I'm with you all the time when I'm listening to it.
Yes.
Wonderful, Crystal. Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your expertise and your passion with our listeners. And for sure, you will be back talking about trends in hair and, who knows, the big hair.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.